A gracious Victorian homestead sits atop a hill 3 kilometres west of Lochinvar. Windermere, one of the Hunter's many historic homesteads. But Windermere is different. It's a family home and a museum. 80-year-old Jack Capp remembers his childhood at Windermere.
Oh, I think about 1902, when I used to toddle around the place with my father. I used to wear a big straw hat.
The Capp family purchased Windermere 110 years ago, but the history of the property extends to the 1820s, when Thomas Winder was granted 830 hectares of land and several convicts. Convicts were essential to the maintenance of colonial life, and through good management, many of the implements used and made by the convicts have survived to form the basis of Windermere's museum.
When he got the grant, he was granted 7 convicts to work the place with, and when they started building, I think there's somewhere about 20 brought in to do the building part.
Must have been a very hard life for the convicts here and for the Winders.
Frightfully hard life. They slept without any bedding or anything as far as we know. They just slept on, and they were chained by the ankle to a chain, and that was chained to 2 big posts in that room, and beside there was doors locked round them, and as you've seen the iron windows. And the guards that were here, there was 4 guards. They slept in these front rooms, and they took it turns so many hours of time to walk around all night and see they didn't get away. So they certainly took no chances, because how could they get away? Poor devil.
If the chains and the shackles in the museum aren't enough to remind us of the hardships the convicts endured, the hill to the north of the homestead still bears the furrows they worked, a chain width apart. Another source of historical material is the Capp family. Over the generations, they've saved a wide variety of curios, including this clockwork doll, a grand old lady made in 1862 and exhibited at the Paris exhibition of that year. The work of restoration is long and slow, and the concept of a museum is only a recent notion for the Capp family.
The Historical Society first got interested, and they said, oh, you know, and we came to see things, and he decided to put a few things out so they could be seen by anyone that came along that was interested.
Luckily, the Capps aren't alone in their love of history. A local school teacher, Craig Marshall, has recently started the task of restoring Windermere's collection of ploughs and carts.
Oh, this is tremendous though, this stuff. It's, you know, it's Australia's heritage. We haven't got our Louvre and our Eiffel Tower. All we've got is our old hunk of iron that's been out in the paddock. And if we can get that out and restore it up and bring it back to its natural glory, well, that surely is Australia's history. Its heritage even.
Heart stoppage. It can happen to anyone, anywhere and at any time. It's the most common form of death outside hospital in Australia. Most people believe only the elderly and high-pressure businessmen suffer heart attacks, and while these groups are at greater risk, heart and blood vessel diseases are responsible for 42.7% of all Australian deaths. But most people don't care. They believe it won't happen to them or their families. In this country, there are a number of special ambulance paramedic units. These teams are specially trained to deal with these sort of emergencies, and help is only a few minutes away, but those minutes are vital. You can save a life, maybe even your husband's, your wife's, or your child's life, with only a little training.
On arriving at a scene of a cardiac arrest or a suspected cardiac arrest, the first thing we have to do is to check to make sure that there are no pulses present. We pass a tube down quickly through the mouth to enable high concentrations of oxygen to be passed into and inflate the lungs. The next step is to connect our LifePak 5, it's a defibrillator heart monitor machine, to the chest so that we determine exactly what electrical activity, if any, is present in the heart. If it isn't present, then we must administer drugs to try and stimulate the heart to the stage where there is some electrical activity, and we can deliver an external electric shock.
So we tell you to stop. 1, 2, 3, that'll 4, 5. Okay. Stand back.
Following the deliverance of the electric shock, the heart may respond to an efficient heartbeat, and it may not, but attempts will be continued sometimes for up to an hour before an efficient heartbeat is achieved. And when the efficient heartbeat is achieved, and only when the efficient heartbeat is achieved, will the patient be transported to hospital and then to a coronary care unit.
This man here is extremely lucky in that someone has cared enough to come from the crowd, recognise the signs of cardiac arrest and perform basic life support procedures. However, that's not always the case. In our particular trade, we arrive so often at scenes where people have just not cared. You stand around and say, well, I'm very sorry, I didn't know what to do. It's one of those things that, to ambulance men in general, it's a very, very frustrating thing indeed, where you seem to go from one tragedy to the next with people caring little. If they would only learn these procedures of basic life support, we would have more Australians to go around.
Cardiac arrest means stoppage of the heart, cessation of mechanical activity of the heart. And when this happens, blood ceases to go to the brain, the person collapses, loses consciousness within 10 to 15 seconds. Following this, irreversible brain damage occurs within 3 to 4 minutes. So it's important, it's necessary for treatment to be commenced within this time. And such treatment involves the trained person acting as the heart and lungs of the victim by initiating heart-lung resuscitation.
Grave concern is often shown at the number of people killed on Australian roads. Few realise that coronary disease claims nearly 8 times as many lives each year. For example, in 1978, statistics show heart disease claimed the greatest number of lives by far, 29,532. Then came car accidents, causing 3,729 deaths in the same year. Next comes suicides. 1,595 people died by their own hand. Drowning is the 4th most common cause, with 355 deaths, most of them children under the age of 10. Drug misuse caused 114 deaths. Then electrocution, 81 fatal accidents. In many of these cases, simple life-saving procedures may have helped save a lot of lives. Remember, no matter what has happened, if the victim is unconscious and not breathing, the steps are the same. Don't panic. First, quickly look to see what's happened. If you're not careful, you may endanger your own life. If the victim is unconscious, check if there is a pulse and if they are breathing. So it's pulse and breathing first.
Pulse. Where is it? I'm not breathing. I'll find it.
If there is no pulse or breathing, start resuscitation and external heart massage immediately.
Mom, Dad!
Get bystanders or your children to call for the paramedics. And make sure the ambulance service gets all the details, what's wrong and where you are. If the ambulance service doesn't know how serious the collapse is, valuable time will be wasted.
Greg, listen to me. Your mother's been electrocuted. I want you to ring the ambulance. 000. Tell them she's been electrocuted and she's unconscious. Now do it quickly. Hurry! Hurry!
Don't stop resuscitation and heart massage until the paramedics arrive. Keep working. Help is on the way, but if you stop the life-saving procedures, there is little the paramedics can do.
Well, I suffered a massive heart attack at home here and was in a state of clinical death for half an hour.
Only that there were ambulance men in the street who gave my husband basic life support. They were later joined by the paramedics who gave him advanced life support. My husband wouldn't be alive today.
I think that everybody should, in the family, someone in the family should learn what to do just in case it happens to them, and if not one, two should learn, because you never know when it's going to strike you. I didn't know it was going to strike me. Looks like we're on the rest, Jim.
Yeah, I'll just get these drops on.
It's all right, Pet. Just be quiet, Pet, for a little while. We'll tell you what's going on in a second.
Thank you very much. Any now? Would you go back to that massage for us, please, for a moment?
Come on, Pet. Now, tell us what happened.
I didn't see what happened. I was making a cup of tea in the kitchen.
Right.
And I heard him fall.
Have you had any chest pain?
This morning he woke up and he said something about it, but I didn't. What's unusual, you know?
Okay. There you go with that line, Jim. Just give me a second, mate.
Ready, all right, I'll be ready to shock when you're turn.
All right, Jim.
You just move aside for a second. Stand clear. All right, I'll have to shock him again when you're ready.
All right.
Okay, you just move aside there for a moment.
Okay.
All right, everybody clear?
No.
A life has been saved. This man had his heart restarted by ambulance paramedics. He was nursed back to health by the staff at the local hospital's coronary care unit. Now he will live again, but like so many others, he would have certainly died if someone hadn't used basic life-saving techniques. Could you save a life?